After 15 years of marriage, my beloved husband Jim comes home from one of his weekly business trips and tells me, Aaron and I are in love. Aaron? Aaron, your new coworker out in the California office that you've worked with for 2 or 3 weeks and spent like 5 or 6 days with total? That woman? Are you crazy? No, we are in love, and I have to be with her. I feel like he has just shoved me off of a cliff, and I am falling, clawing at the air. And then he says, I guess this means we'll divorce. I love this man. I don't want to give up on my 15 years with him. They've been great years until now. So I say, this seems pretty sudden. Maybe we can just separate for now because I am playing for time. I'm hoping that he will get over this infatuation and come back to his senses. Now, the irony is that when Jim proposed at the age of 24, I said to him, are you sure you just don't want to live together for a while? I mean, I'm kind of afraid if we get married too young, like you'll have a midlife crisis and run off with another woman or something. And he said, oh, that'd never happen. Well, 15 years and 10 days later, Jim loads up the truck, grabs our 2 dogs, and off he goes from Albuquerque to California to live with Aaron. I'm like, oh my God. Well, 2 weeks later, he sends an email to me and all of our friends and says, hey, I'm gonna be in town on business on Thursday. Love to see you guys at happy hour at Sadie's. I choose not to respond. But several of our friends go, and afterwards, one of them calls me, Lori, and she says, Ann, Jim says he's been unhappy for years. Really? He really did a good job of hiding it for a long time. Yeah, he says he's tired of the wheelchair. He's tired of the wheelchair? I can't wait till he gets his mind back. And she says, Ann, he's not coming back. He said, I'm finally having good sex for the first time in 15 years. He said, what? Oh my God, he's telling all of our friends I suck in the sack? I mean, how do you defend against that? No, really, I gave him plenty of blowjobs, assumed numerous positions like we were practically bunnies, okay? Well, horrified, I call my counselor immediately, and I go on Amazon and order a couple of books on sex to confirm my deep knowledge. And my counselor says to me, well, of course, he says he's having good sex. You can't compare forbidden sex with a new woman with sex at the end of 15 years with the same woman. Well, okay, I get that, but it still burns. And as for those books, there was a thing or two, but maybe nothing I didn't really already know or practice anyway. And the kicker is, I taught him everything he knows. Because I'm older, more experienced, and shall we say, more imaginative. The very idea that I am anything less than spectacular in bed is ridiculous. We had sex in all kinds of places, hospitals, planes, wedding receptions. And, you know, what really pisses me off is that he is perpetuating a stereotype that people with disabilities are not good sexual beings. Like, you know that old Dorothy Parker quote, well, men never make passes at girls who wear glasses. Well, honey, if you think girls with glasses try harder, try working with this. He did not have to throw me under the bus, right? All he ever had to say is, I never meant to hurt Anne, but I fell in love with someone else, right? And it was so unlike him to be this unkind. He was all about integrity and Stephen Covey. In fact, he had just come back from being certified to be a Stephen Covey trainer in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So I think, well, maybe I should apply the habits to his behavior for some deeper understanding. Number 1, be proactive. Sleep with someone new. Number 2, begin with the end in mind. I think I'll replace my wife with a near stranger who thinks I'm perfect. Number 3, put first things first. Tell your wife. Number 4, think win-win. We should both orgasm every time. Number 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Gee, Aaron, what do you like to do in bed? I'm perfectly happy with the missionary position. Number 6, synergize. And number 7, be sure and take time to sharpen your saw, which in this scenario I'm thinking means take time to rest the penis. Now, another practice Jim engaged in, which I thought he would stop after he left, was sending out an annual holiday newsletter. But no, he sent one out to his family and all our friends and all of my family. And it begins, after 15 years of marriage, I have left Anne. I am now blessed to be with Aaron. We have 2 dogs, 2 cats, blah, blah, blah. Well, my sister calls me up and she's like, you give me his phone number because I'm going to rip him a new one. And my cousin calls me and says, I ripped that thing to shreds as soon as I finished it. And my brother says, I thought it was a really nice newsletter. So we go on to divorce. Jim and Aaron marry, they have a kid, and from time to time, comments drift back to me like, God, Aaron's really a bitch. Or, she looks so much like you, Ann, but she has no personality. And my personal favorite, God, she's so controlling. I mean, everywhere he goes, she's constantly calling him, telling him he has to come home. Be careful what you wish for. Well, that all went down 17 years ago. But a few months ago, I got a call from my former sister-in-law, Janet, with whom I've maintained a great relationship over the years. And she says, so, did you hear about Jim? No. At Christmas time, Aaron came home and said, it's over. She wants a divorce. She's taking the kids. She's moving into town. And it was a total shock to him. He had no idea it was coming. Like, whoa. And then with great satisfaction, Janet added, karma's a bitch, ain't it? And I thought about that for a moment, and I thought, am I happy Aaron did to Jim what he did to me? Maybe. But I've built a great life for myself since he left. Do I think he deserved this, given what he did to me? Probably. But that was a long time ago, and I have moved on. Do I feel triumphant? That emotionally he's going through exactly what he did to me? And I think back, despite all that shade from the end of our marriage, I would not wish the feeling of being abandoned out of the blue by the person you loved most on anyone, not even my dick ex-husband.